they found their homes. But who's watching who? So the men who affiliated with Jerome Cunningham, that's Father Rome, and Cat, they have found the homes of the men. Ladies and gentlemen, today I need you to pay very close attention because this story has taken another turn for the worse. Because these men are operating on an intelligence base before they commit this act. And I mean a serious term. St. Elizabeth, Manchester, and Clarendon. Information circulated among people familiar with the situation claims that the residences associated with Godfrey, Rev. Martin, and Kevin Tillibaugh Roberts have now been identified. Hopefully the Jamaican police are keeping themselves abreast of what is about to happen. Because these men are not playing. Another person in the chatter whose name has been repeatedly mentioned so many times, Gomiko. In the conversation they had mentioned a man that who has been referred to as a drink. I have to verify and confirm that this is some serious thing. But that isn't even the part that made me stop. The chatter goes further. People are claiming that these properties are protected by sophisticated 360-degree high-definition surveillance cameras. The kind of camera system designed to capture movement around a property from multiple directions. So them man are bad man and them are drug dealer and gang leader, them have cameras on them house, or if any time police are come or what, or they want to protect themselves just in case there's evidence there. And now the question that should have everybody watching this program thinking, people in the air are also claiming that unmarked vehicles believed by them to be connected to police, detectives have been observed around two premises in Santa Cruz and Mandeville. Notice my words carefully. I did not tell you that law enforcement confirmed those vehicles belong to them. I did not tell you that either man is under surveillance. I am certainly not telling you that the presence of an unfamiliar vehicle proves a criminal investigation. This vehicle armor there seems like it's for protection, to let those who know that police is here. Those are conclusions we cannot responsibly make without evidence. But after what happened to Jerome Cunningham and Clayton Cat Manning in Los Angeles on July 3rd, 2026, you better believe people are watching everything. And today we are going to separate three things that too many people mix together. What we know at the Jamaica Young Police Channel, what people are reporting, and what remains completely unproven. Because if cameras are recording everything around these properties, there is another fascinating possibility. If someone is watching the houses, the cameras may also be watching them. Think about that. Don't leave this program early, because later I am going to explain why investigators sometimes learn almost as much from the digital perimeter surrounding a location as they do from the people inside it. And I have one request. Do not post anybody's home address in my comments, please. We investigate information here. We do not endanger families. Let's get into it. And if you have reached this far, please just type and tell us where you're watching the video from. My people, there are moments in an investigation when one piece of information changes the way everybody looks at everything that came before it. Tonight may be one of those moments. For weeks, names, photographs, relationships, rumors, whole friendship, and competing theories have circulated around the killing of Jerome Cunningham and Clayton Cat Manning. Some information has been documented. Some has come from people claiming inside knowledge. Some is street chatter. And some may eventually turn out to be completely wrong. And that is why I am putting those categories on the table immediately. Because an investigative program loses credibility the moment rumors is dressed up as evidence. Now we are hearing something different. People familiar with these communities are saying they have identified residences associated with Godfrey, Rev Martin, and Kevin Tillibaugh Roberts. I am deliberately not giving you those addresses. Why? Why I'm not giving you those addresses? Because an address isn't necessary for us to discuss the public interest questions surrounding this. If this is the first time visiting the Jamaica Young Police channel and you haven't subscribed as yet, please consider subscribing. If you are already a subscriber but you are not receiving your notifications, please unsubscribe, then subscribe again, and make sure your notifications are turned on. At the present moment, it's only 172 people that subscribe to the Jamaica Young Police channel are receiving notification. Let me repeat myself. 172 people. That's the threshold that YouTube had put on the channel from their surrogates, from the PMP LGBTQ plus criminal organization. Surrogates. That's in YouTube. And it started from a guy by the name of Omar Ibanks, a convicted drug dealer and a deportee, after he had exposed Mark Gumabir Golin in the killing of the PMP councillor Tyson. That's from when the channel has been under attack, because he had revealed the names of the people who had played an integral role in the killing of this man. And it go right back to the opposition leader, the big belly white man from England. So they had killed Tyson to give Omar Ibanks the seat. So he had exposed the opposition leader in an alleged murder case. So to those of you who have stood with this channel over the years, thank you for your loyalty and support. Many of you have watched the challenges this channel has faced over the past 2.5 years. Through it, we have remained committed to our mission of sharing our perspectives, encouraging discussion, and standing by what we believe is the truth. History reminds us that evil and wickedness may appear to prosper for a season. There are times when deception seems to win, and those who celebrate wrongdoing believe they have the final word. But history also teaches that lies are temporary. Lies are temporary. Truth as a way of enduring, and integrity as a way of outlasting deception. No matter how difficult the journey may become, we will continue to pursue what we believe is right and truthful. speak with conviction and encourage our audience to think critically, examine the evidence, and draw their own conclusions. Truth endures forever. Integrity endures forever. That is why we remain committed to this journey with you. They can't break us. Never. But as we say, the longest liver will see.
Yes, welcome to the Jamaica Young Police channel. To our loyal viewers, subscribers and Patreon member. At the channel, we are a group of law-abiding citizens who believe in the rule of law and respect the rights of every citizen, but not the ones who do not subscribe to such behavior. We do believe in and support preemptive strikes because they save lives. This is a logical conclusion because preemptive strikes save lives and prevent the further loss of lives. We are all about saving lives at this channel. We at the channel aid criminals with a passion and do not want them over here. We do not want your views, your subscriptions, your likes or your comments. Please go elsewhere where the red carpet is waiting for you. Over here, we want you to go to prison or the departure lounge at Madden. Moving on to today's video.
Story. There could be wives there, children, parents, neighbors who have absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with whatever controversy surrounds somebody else. Nobody watching this channel needs direction to another person's front door. That's not journalism. That's not investigation. That's recklessness. But there is something about the reports concerning these residents that deserve examination. We are being told the properties have extensive surveillance camera coverage. Not one little doorbell camera. The description being circulated is a 360-degree high definition coverage. If accurate, that changes an important question, because whenever sophisticated cameras exist around a property, the question becomes, what did those cameras capture? The distance. So I don't know if their cameras had picked up these vehicles. You see a vehicle pass a yard, different time idea, and you notice the speed, the vehicle them unfamiliar. Not just yesterday, not just today, but potentially over a week, depending upon the equipment and retention system. And that brings us to the second report. People in the year claim unfamiliar or unmarked vehicle, which they believe were associated with law enforcement, meaning police, detectives, undercover police. That deserves attention, but it does not deserve exaggeration. An unmarked police car is simple. An unmarked police car, unless evidence establishes who owns or operates it. I cannot look through tinted windows from hundreds or thousands of miles away and tell you who is sitting inside. Neither can anybody else responsibly do that from internet chatter. So tonight, we're asking questions. We're not manufacturing answers. And that's where this story begins. What does an unmarked police vehicle actually prove? Almost nothing by itself, but it shows that these men have connection to law enforcement in Jamaica to be having unmarked police vehicle in their premises, on their premises. Some people say it's almost nothing by itself. And I want everybody to understand that people watch television and movies and develop an image of surveillance, a dark SUV, a tinted window. Tinted windows. 2 people sitting outside. Coffee cup on the dashboard. Suddenly everybody says, detectives. Life doesn't work like that neatly. It could be a visitor, a contractor, a neighbor, a private investigator, somebody waiting for another person, somebody completely unrelated to anything we are discussing. But Jamaican people, they are not stupid. They know a police car when they see one. Because it doesn't matter how the police try to blend in. The police cars are normally unique. Oh yes, under appropriate circumstances, it could potentially involve law enforcement. But you cannot just leap from possibility to fact. That's precisely why investigators corroborate information. One observation isn't enough. You ask, who saw it, when, how many times? Was the license plate recorded lawfully from a public vantage point? And the license plate on these vehicles that these men are using are not registered to the vehicle that they are driving. Did independent witness see the same thing? Was there official activity? Who gave these police officers permission to be around these men? Both men at their homes. Well, was there a warrant? Was there an arrest? Was there a public statement? No. So why are police officers, why are unmarked police vehicles at these men's homes? Until those pieces begin connected, what you possess is information requiring verification and proof. And this is important because people's reputations are involved. If authorities are investigating someone, that doesn't establish guilt either. Police investigate innocent people all the time because investigations are designed to determine what happened and who, if anyone, bears responsibility. So now this thing is getting down to the nitty-gritty because they want revenge. As if killing these men or people that related to them will bring them back. So now they have been talking about trying to find the father for Rev that lives in New York. Sometimes investigators eliminate somebody as a suspect. Sometimes information leads somewhere else entirely. That's why we don't jump 10 chapters ahead. The camera may become the silent witness. Now let's talk about those cameras, because this is where the story gets fascinating. Imagine a house surrounded by cameras, front, rear, driveway, side entrance, street-facing angles, perhaps overlapping fields of view. These people identify the man's house, both men's house, the vehicles, and they are making notation, taking notes like detectives, taking pictures too. A person may forget what happened 3 weeks ago. A properly functioning camera doesn't have human memory. It records what passes through its fields of view. That is why a camera can become extraordinarily important. Yes, it can become extraordinarily important. Suppose investigators were lawfully examining events connected to a particular individual. The video might potentially establish mundane but important facts. When did somebody arrive? When did somebody leave? What vehicle entered? How long did it remain? Were there recurring visitors? Does someone's account of an event correspond with objective footage. But here's something equally important. Cameras can clear people too. And that's a part television sometimes forget. So now that they have found these men, the thing is that we don't have a date and time or where they're going to hit. That's a part we don't know. Video isn't automatically prosecution evidence. It can be exculpatory evidence. If someone claims person A was somewhere at 8 p.m., an authenticated video conclusively shows that person somewhere else, that could be enormously significant. Evidence doesn't have a team. Evidence doesn't care who wins an argument. That's why I always says, give me evidence over excitement. And if these reported camera systems actually exist, the interesting question isn't whether internet devices or internet detectives can obtain the recordings. They shouldn't. The question is whether lawful investigators show they have legitimate investigative reason and appropriate legal authority might consider such material relevant. That's completely different. So now these men are planning to get revenge. Our job here at the Jamaica Young Police Channel is all about saving lives. Some people say, why you're trying to save their life? You have done so many things at times to save others' life when the public don't believe that their lives have no value. But we have no beef in the fight. We're just all about justice. We know that they had murdered Jerome and Kat and Uncle Paul was shot and injured. Now bring your mind back to Los Angeles, July 3rd, 2026. Jerome Cunningham, Father Romy, Maven Jerome, and Clayton Cat Manning lost their lives. Uncle Paul survived. He was shot in the foot. How ironic. You know, that kind of setup, you can't make it up at all. Whatever anybody thinks about these men, their backgrounds, friendships, reputations, disputes, or histories, 2 human beings were killed. Families lost loved ones, and somebody knows what happened. That is the central fact around which everything else revolves. They're saying that Gomiko is the one that did it because he wants to become the Don from Yapen. So that would be like the case of Jati and Blood. The objective should never become internet revenge. The objective should never become internet revenge. The objective should be truth and lawful accountability. My job here at the Jamaica Young Police Channel is all about saving lives. I do not support the killing of another human being without justification. Some would say that you're trying to protect Kevin Tillibaugh Roberts and Godfrey Rev Martin. Some would say maybe you were paid to look out for them just the same way that you were paid to look out for Vybz Kartel. And I can say without hesitation, I have never received any payment or any money from anyone connected to these men. No one can pay me to spin things and mislead the public. You see, my reputation is very valuable to me, and I cannot allow my reputation to be dragged through the mud. I've stated already and I'll say again, the Jamaica Young Police Channel is all about saving lives. Every time somebody exaggerates a rumor, that person potentially contaminate the information environment surrounding the real investigation. Imagine investigators trying to distinguish genuine intelligence from hundreds of social media stories invented for attention, likes and clicks. That doesn't help them. That's why this channel needs discipline. We can discuss relationships. We can analyze timelines. We can examine contradictions. We can ask difficult questions. But when the evidence ends, our certainty must end with it. And remember something else. Association is not guilt. Knowing someone or somebody doesn't make you responsible for that person's conduct. So all of you who don't care about the life of people that related to these men and talking as if just being irresponsible and just want to create hurt, that's just wrong. Appearing in a photograph doesn't establish conspiracy. Attending an event doesn't establish criminal involvement. So the link between Jamaica, Cat and Nankapal, that is one of the main chatter. There's no one else from within the organization that they have been focusing on apart from these two men. That he's the one who is behind it. And they want blood. Living at a particular house doesn't establish criminal conduct. And having a surveillance cameras certainly doesn't establish wrongdoing. Millions of ordinary homeowners have extensive security system. So why mention the cameras? Because if an investigation ever makes activities around those properties relevant, objective recording could potentially help establish facts. That's the significance. Nothing more should be claimed without evidence. Here's the paradox. Imagine somebody conducting surveillance around a heavily monitored property. They may believe they are observing the occupants, but every time their vehicle passes the driveway, every time headlights approach, every time somebody walks towards the entrance, every time a vehicle stops within the camera lawful field of view, the observer may themselves be recording. That is why modern investigations generate enormous amount of digital evidence. We are living in a different world. They have doorbell cameras, business surveillance, traffic cameras, cellular records, obtained through lawful process. License plate system were legally available. Electronic plate systems were legally available. Electronic communications obtained under appropriate authority. Vehicle telematics in appropriate circumstances. Location records subject to constitutional and statutory requirements. Digital transactions. Modern investigations can solve a mosaic of information. One piece might mean nothing. 10 independent pieces pointing in the same direction can tell a different story. But there's another side. Investigators must follow the law. A serious criminal investigation isn't supposed to be, we think this person did something, therefore everything belongs to us. There are constitutional protections, warrants, subpoenas, probable cause, requirements, inappropriate circumstances, judicial oversight, rules governing evidence, chain of custody, authentication, defense challenges, because government power must have boundaries. That's what separates investigation from vigilantism. Why people should not approach these homes. Now I need everybody listening carefully. This is where curiosity can become dangerous. If you believe you know where either man lives, do not go there. Don't drive past repeatedly. Don't stand outside filming. Don't fly drones over private property. Don't confront occupants. Don't photograph children or uninvolved relatives. And absolutely do not publish residential addresses in my comment section. Why would we need to? We don't need to know the address. Although we have heard the address says if somebody genuinely possesses evidence connected to a homicide, the responsible destination is the investigating authorities, not social media mob. There is another reason. Suppose an active investigation actually existed. Amateur interference could potentially alert people, disrupt legitimate investigative activities, create safety problems, or contaminate evidence. You don't help detectives by pretending to be one outside somebody's house. Let professionals do professional work. Our role is different. We educate, we analyze public information that's available, we challenge contradiction, we distinguish allegations from established facts, and when new evidence becomes public, we examine it. So after everything tonight, what question remains? A lot. Are these actual residency currently associated with the individual being discussed? We need reliable confirmation. Do the property actually have the extensive camera system being described? That is also required for verification. Were unfamiliar vehicles observed? Perhaps. Were they actually law enforcement vehicles? We don't know. That's what it says in the chatter. If law enforcement was present, why? We don't know. One of them stated that one of the police officers looks like an officer that they know off the street, a detective. Was it connected to the Los Angeles homicide? All we can do is just put one and one together and says, yes. Was anybody being investigated? Again, we don't know what the Jamaican police are doing because this is not, the killing did not happen in their jurisdiction. They're on the alert and want to make sure that they can prevent any murder on their side. And that's not weakness. That responsible policing. 3 words can protect the integrity of an entire investigation. We don't know. Until evidence allows us to say that we do. But no, ask question that matters. What happened next? If authorities publicly confirm investigative activity, the story changes immediately. If arrests occur, it changes again. If warrants or court documents become become public, then we can read exactly what investigators are alleging. And even then, allegations aren't convictions. Arrests are not convictions. The burden remains on the government to prove its case. My people, today wasn't about sending anybody to somebody's home or house. It wasn't about declaring anybody guilty. It wasn't about transforming neighborhood chatter into a criminal indictment. It was about something much bigger. The truth leaves footprints. Some physical, some digital, sometimes financial, sometimes electronic, and sometimes the most important witness doesn't have a mouth. It is a camera mounted quietly above a doorway, recording while everybody else believes nobody is watching. If the report we are receiving are accurate, there may be extensive surveillance coverage around properties associated with people whose names have entered this wider public conversation. So most of the houses there have cameras. What those cameras contain, if anything relevant, is something unlegitimate evidence can tell us. And regarding the reported unmarked vehicles, until somebody establish ownership or law enforcement involvement, they remain unidentified vehicles. People might say are police, but we can't confirm or deny the same because we did not receive any information from the Jamaica Constabulary Force. So that's where I am drawing the line. Because Jamaican Young Police Channel is not going to convict anybody based upon a parked vehicle. We are going to ask questions. We are going to follow documented developments. We are going to separate intelligence from evidence. And we are going to keep reminding everybody, no person discussed tonight, today, should be considered guilty of any crime merely because their name, photograph, residence, friendship, or associations have become a part of public discussion. For Jerome Cunningham, for Cat Clayton Manning, for their families, for every innocent person whose name could become tangled in speculation, we want truth, not revenge, not rumors, not street justice, truth and lawful justice. And if investigators eventually walk into a courtroom carrying authenticated video, forensic evidence, communications, witnesses, testimony, and other independently corroborated evidence, then the evidence will speak for itself. Until then, watch the evidence, question the rumors, protect innocent families, and never confuse suspicion with proof. This is the Jamaica Young Police Channel, where substance over popularity. And if you have reached the end of this presentation, your code word for you to type is the eyes that never sleep. That's the eyes that never sleep. Have yourself a beautiful day. Jamaica Young Police Channel out.